So none of us saw this coming. And we have said all along, we're just in awe of Temecula teachers and what they've done to create such an impressive distance learning program in such a short time. But this has been challenging for all of us. And it continues to be challenging, just like Nathan said, with attendance, with grades, with all sorts of things. But what has been most challenging for you, Michelle, to date?
Gosh, the technology piece, we're pretty good and you've been great with your tech tips every day, but something gets thrown out there and it's like, okay, this looks great, this will solve my problem, or I'll be able to use it this way, and then you actually get into it and it doesn't work quite the way you thought, or you realize you need another piece, or you have to push something else out. And so just trying to make all those pieces work together effectively, and then wanting to do right by my kids and not knowing in this platform, am I really getting through to them? Are they really getting what they need? I'm putting as much as I can out there, trying to make all these different lessons and meet different levels, different needs. But as far as being there with them and knowing, okay, are they really understanding this? Is this really effective? That's been the hardest part, letting go of the control of not seeing them face to face and knowing exactly what's getting through.
Yeah, thank you. Corey?
I definitely agree with you that that's been difficult in elementary as well. I think for me, it's been really difficult to not be able to give instantaneous feedback where I can just put my finger on somebody's paper and say, hey, check for that proper noun, and having to actually type all those responses out. And so just kind of navigating that has been difficult. For me personally, working from home has been very hard because I have a first and a fourth grader at home with me, and it's just me and them all day. And so it's been very difficult figuring out when to be teacher and when to be mom, and realizing very quickly that I could not have my first grader working right next to me while I was trying to type responses to my students, and really needing to turn off teacher, sit with her and focus, for her dedicated lessons, and then move back to being teacher.
Yeah, and that's true of all levels. Or Mike, what do you have?
Well, I just got to say, I'm very grateful. Our 3 kids are all out, so we're empty. So it's I'm very sympathetic to what I hear about what's going on with some of the stories there. And in that mindset, I was thinking, as the teacher and presenting this, I'm like, God, what if my kids were here at home with me? What would I be wanting to do to see? And the challenges, I would say, would probably be keeping them engaged, having activities or whatever we're presenting, making it a convincing engagement for the kids, to where they would say, hey, I want to go back again the next time we meet. And I think there's been some great technological resources we have today that are being able to do that, along with the opportunity of the chat rooms and the microphones. And I think the big pivot on that, or the big put emphasis on that, is us being there with the kids, being able to create that environment that will make them come back and stay engaging, so that we feel comfortable going back to them and not overwhelmed and afraid, and that it becomes a part of us, so that when we're engaged with these kids, it just flows. And that's some of the biggest challenges I've noticed.
Thank you.
Yeah, I kind of going along with that. I feel like the biggest challenge is finding a way to challenge the students, but not overwhelm them. Is finding that, again, that engagement of wanting to push them, but how much can they do without having that constant, our voice in the back of their head, kind of reminding them and giving them those tips back and forth. I love the schedule that the district put out for our students to kind of track and use as a guide. It's just not happening with a lot of our students. And so when you get your time stamp that they're working at 10:30 at night and they have a question and you're not getting it till 8 o'clock in the morning, there's that delay, there's that lag. So I think we've all been very structured as people, and our bell schedule allows us to have that. Distance learning has made it a very difficult thing to continue with that structure in place.
Yeah, and going along with all that too, I think the biggest challenge for me just been worry, because we're not there with the kids, and we're used to being there with them every single day, and just getting to get nonverbal feedback on what's going on in the classroom, I can shift and like engage them a different way if that wasn't working. But I can't do that, and we're so limited in that regard. So that's been hard for me, and worrying not just about that, but also the emotional side of things that they're going through. And every student we already know has each has their own story. Yet even in this time, even more importantly, they have a different story of what new obstacles are overcoming in their life. So trying to be sensitive to that, but also navigating, am I giving them, like we already said, something engaging? Am I giving them feedback in a timely manner? And, it's really hard not to worry. And, I'll prop up my seniors because I kind of connected them with apathy that Mike talked about a second ago. But you thought senioritis was bad in a normal spring semester right before they graduate. And here are these seniors who are losing out, having sacrificed a lot, being hit with reality sooner than they expected to. Yet, again, I want to praise them for rising to the occasion, but especially them, I worry about.
Yeah, thank you.